Hi there, I'm Chrissy, the mobile vet nurse, and this is Oden. You might have seen him along the way. Oden is a Maine Coon. He's 9 years old, and he's going to help demonstrate just how to do a basic health check for your cat in between vet visits. So a trip to the vet once a year equates us to going to the doctor once every 7 years. So in that period of time we can get a lot of changes going on. So today I'm just going to show you what to look out for and how best to care for your cat. So what I like to do is have somewhere a nice hard surface, quite often using a surface that they're not used to. So he's on the kitchen bench, it's the only time he's allowed on the bench. Or you can use a washing machine, or just somewhere, a table outside that they're not used to going onto, and that way, as you can see, he's looking around rather than sort of jumping off my knee. And having somewhere that is nice and stable as well, so he's not slipping. So I've just got a yoga mat here, and yeah, he's quite comfortable here. So when we're doing our wee checks, it's a good idea just to have them facing away from you, so it's nice and easy to sort of hold on to them. And so what we're going to do is just start from the very tip to the very tail. So we'll start with his nose here. It's nice and clean, as you can see, no discharge, and nice and clear. No sneezing at all has been noted, so that's a great sign. His eyes should be nice and clear. Oden tends to get a little bit of gunk around here, so you can see a wee bit there. So what I do is sort of just, if you're not into picking, you can wipe it, just clear that away. And we probably have to do that once every couple of days. You can see up here as well, he just gets a bit of discharge there, so just easily wiping that away just with your thumbnail, or you can get a wee cloth to do that as well. So his eyes are nice and clear, there's no discharge at all, and good boy. Good boy. You can see there the whites of his eyes at the top, and so if you see red or you see a discharge at all, it's a good idea with you know, cats that do have issues with that, just to get them down to your vet for a wee check. Can be a number of reasons for that, so I don't muck around with eyes. If you're concerned at all, just get down to your vet for a wee check. He's got big fluffy ears, so this fluff here protects a lot of things going into his ears, but what we want is them nice and clean. You can see right down there. If you think your cat's got dirty ears, never ever use cotton buds. Just like us, what you can do is get a swab. I really like using these because they tend to grab a lot of dirt out. So you can just go around the top of the ear, you don't have to dig in too far, and give it a nice wee wipe. So there's a little bit of muck there. Good boy. And the other one. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Nice work. So another thing to check for around the head is bites and scratches. So if your cat gets into a fight, there's one of two places that you're usually bitten. So either around the head and chest, or around their butt. So that's sort of telling us that they're either taking it head on, or they're running away. So I like just to go over and have a good feel around, make sure that there isn't any scratches or scabs. They're very easy to feel. If you sort of go back against the grain of the fur, go right round, have a good feel. Good boy. He's actually liking this, which is great. Another thing to check out on cats is chin acne, which is quite common in cats, and it's usually around this area. So he doesn't have any, but you're looking for black spots or a bit of missing fur that is really sort of itchy and patchy. So if you see that, then it's definitely a good idea to get to your vet as well, and they'll be able to give you some help and advice about how to get rid of that. Sort of working down over his shoulders, feeling again. Good boy. Up and under. So we sort of lift him up and work down his arms. Good boy. Hey, no lumps or bumps there. Good boy. Good boy. That all feels fantastic. So then we get down to his claws, which is a big problem in a lot of cats. So he's had his trimmed regularly, so they're a really nice length there. So you can, in his claws, you can see where the quick is. So there's a pink. Good boy. There. So you can see right at the base, the quick is pink. So I like to take their nails probably quite short, leaving 1 to 2 mil at the ends there. So we can show you how to do a nail trim at a later date. He's doing really well. So yeah, so right back here is where the quick is, just in there. So you can take anything sort of back to 1 mil or 2 down from that, keeping them quite comfy. If left to grow, quite often they'll hook right around and into the pads, okay, which is obviously really uncomfortable. Even if they're half that length again, they can get caught in your clothing and furniture, so it's a great idea to sort of keep them short. So then we're working down the rest. Good boy, feeling underneath. A lot of cats don't cope with their tummies being touched, so just be mindful of what your cat can put up with. Don't push it. And you don't have to do all of this at one time. You can actually have a break and, you know, the next day sort of check in. Good boy. So just working down the backs of his legs. Good boy. So if you've got Oden is quite a large cat, so if you've got somebody else to help you, get them just to hold over the shoulders and you can sort of have a wee feel down their legs. He likes to bring a lot of seeds. There's one in his coat. Grass seeds are horrible and can actually pierce the skin and track into their bodies and move around the body, which is painful and can be lethal. So great idea in long-haired cats just to feel over their coats each day and look for signs of twigs and sticks, and good boy. So Oden has a really fluffy butt. So it is quite hard to see his bum underneath all that, but that should be nice and clean and clear of any poo, which yes it is, which is great. So when it comes to trimming Oden, we've got really good tools to do that. We never ever recommend you getting scissors onto cats to get rid of knots and things. Cat skin is very, very thin, so if you were to even have a small nick of their skin, it opens like, it splits very easily like a tomato in hot water. You know, it opens up and needs stitching. So keep the scissors in the drawer and away from cats. So with his coat, what we then do is give them a nice sort of comb through and remove any fur we can, and this helps reduce fur balls, vomiting, shedding. So you can see, good boy, he gets lots and lots of fur through here. So the more you do this, the more they get used to it. Good boy. Oh, good boy. So you can see just in that how much we've got out there. So that eventually, you know, if you didn't take it out, would end up on your floor or down his throat. Good boy. Good boy. And you go right round here. Good man. Boy, he's putting on a good show today. Hey? Good boy. So just run it right through. Nice long sweeps. Good boy. Hey? Good boy. Good boy. So I generally run the comb through until I stop just getting fur out, and that gives me a good idea of sort of where his coat's at and what else needs doing. But because we brush him regularly, he's not too bad. Winter's really tough for these guys because their coats really thicken up a lot. So good boy. Down their tail. Good boy. And quite often you can feel some lumps and bumps sort of going over with the comb as well if you miss them initially. So, but he's looking really good. Good boy. You enjoying this? Hey? Good boy. Good boy. So Oden, being a Maine Coon, is a bit bigger than the normal cat. He's sitting at about 9 kilos. So the good way of judging your cat's weight is to sort of have them standing up and to feel over their ribs. Okay, so you should easily be able to feel their ribs with a bit of a fat covering, okay? If you can't feel their ribs, that generally gives you an idea that they're just overweight, and we need to actually look at how much you're feeding and the sort of food that you're feeding. Most foods have a gauge on how much you should be feeding, so if you get your cat's food home and it goes straight into the bin, storage bin, best just to cut like the graph on the back of the bag and put it on the side of the bin so that you know how much they should be feeding and how often you should be feeding that food to them. If you've got any questions, we can definitely help with, you know, if you're looking at weight loss, giving you an idea of the right food to use and how much you should be feeding. It's really important. So having a cat leaner than heavier for longevity. So when it comes to, back to the one last thing with his oral hygiene, good boy. What we're looking for is nice white teeth. He's got nice pink gums, which is a great sign. There's a little bit of tartar starting up the top of this tooth here. So we're keeping an eye on that. Some people brush their cat's teeth. I don't. It's just a battle that, you know, I just don't take on with him. There's also a little bit of tartar there that we're keeping an eye on, but the rest of his gums are nice and pink. His mouth isn't smelly at all. Another thing we look for when it comes to checking in their mouths is their tongue. Quite often a cat will lacerate their tongue if they're licking a tin, like a Friskies tin, or they get into the rubbish and they're sort of eating something they shouldn't. So if you see your cat drooling, or if their mouth is a bit smelly, it could be, you know, they're having issues with a cut tongue, or they've got some rotten teeth in there. So having great teeth on your cat is a huge benefit, because if you've got it's just like us, with a healthy mouth, you're going to have a healthy cat. So basically, he's done really, really well. Good boy. So yeah, good oral hygiene is huge. If they don't have good oral hygiene, it can lead on to kidney disease and other health issues. So yeah, just keeping an eye on them every week, the changes that are going on. If you find any lumps or bumps, definitely get into your vet for a check. And yeah, happy health checks.